There's some great teams in this district. It's time now for our film session, presented by your local Geico offices in Cypress, Katy Spring, and Pearland.
6 of the 8 teams in District 12 5A Division II remain the same, beginning with defending district champion Barbers Hill. The Eagles reached the 3rd round of the playoffs last year, thanks in large part to a defense that stonewalled opponents, allowing just 10 points per game in district play and shutting out Sterling in the first round of the postseason. 3 Eagles defenders who earned first-team All-District honors a year ago returned in 2020. After starting last season 0-4 with a young roster, Crosby rallied to finish in a tie for 2nd in league play and even won a playoff game. Look for an experienced group of Cougars to jump on their young prey this season, led by senior signal caller Daniquez Dunn. Crosby's offense was clicking at the end of 2019, scoring more than 52 points a game in their final 4 contests. If the offense picks up where it left off, Crosby will definitely be a team to watch in 2020. Santa Fe looks for a bounce-back season in 2020 after making the playoffs 2 years ago but struggling to a 2-8 campaign last fall. Dayton, Nederland, and Port Neches Groves all remain in this district. Baytown Lee and Vider both depart and are replaced by Kingwood Park and Texas City, who both dropped down from 5A Division I. Kingwood Park could be an instant contender after advancing to the playoffs in a larger classification a year ago. The Panthers also gave Barbers Hill a tough test in non-district play last September before eventually falling to the Eagles 42-35. Texas City rounds out the district, and the Stingarees are no doubt excited to leave what was probably the top 5A district in the state the last 2 seasons, 10 5A Division I. Now Texas City drops to Division II, where the Stingarees hope to bounce back after 2 straight 2-8 seasons.
Special teams need special players. We take a look at a few of those players from District 12 5A Division II in our next segment, Players on the Rise, presented by Grimaldi's Pizzeria.
Kingwood Park senior Brandon Acosta is a 2-way player for the Panthers. On offense, he's a running back, and defensively, he's a safety. Standing at 5'10", Acosta is explosive, running a 4.48 40. He helped lead his team to the playoffs in 2019. Samaj McCall is the lightning of the Texas City offense. The 2021 senior running back is one of the leaders of the Stingaree offense. He has 1,336 total rushing yards and rushes over 80 yards per game. Crosby athlete Daniquez Dunn is a stud. He played the 2019 season as a dual-threat quarterback and was good through the air, but could also get you on the ground. In his junior season, he had 1,000 passing yards and another 850 rushing yards, plus 16 total touchdowns. Santa Fe High has a defensive star in Bruce Erickson. The Indian defenseman will be leaned on heavily going into his senior year and will be needed as Santa Fe moves into a new district with big-time offenses. Wide receiver Cameron Cawley is a key piece of the Barbers Hill offense. He came on the scene as a sophomore for the Eagles and has helped them put together 2 seasons of playoff berths. He's also a stud on the baseball field as he's committed to Texas Tech to play for the Red Raiders baseball team.
And those players are great on the gridiron, but do you know somebody from the high school sports scene doing great in your community? A player, coach, or team going that extra mile? Nominate them for a Chevy Spotlight. To nominate, go to ihsschevyspotlight.com and follow our social platforms all summer long to see some of those nominations highlighted. Now it's time for our Media Day segment, where we talk to coaches about not only their teams, but the competition that they will be seeing in the 2020 season.
Hey there, everyone. I'm here with the head coach of the Crosby Cougars, Jerry Prieto. Coach, how's it going?
Oh, man, we're making it, one day at a time, just kind of like everyone else, trying to make the best of the situation, hoping everybody stays safe and healthy as we move forward.
And Crosby is one of those teams who always seems to be in the mix, especially when it comes down to the wire for playoff pushes. Talk about the team that you're going to have coming back in the 2020 season and some of those guys that we should be paying attention to.
Yeah, definitely. We have some high expectations for a lot of the kids that we have coming back and for our team in general. We were really young last year, and obviously I started May 1st. Our staff wasn't really put together till July. And so we were getting to know the kids were getting to know us, and we started to put together some things late in the season. And we return about 14 starters, about 7 on each side of the ball. And so just more familiarity with them and with us and with our system, I think, is going to help us moving into next year. Reggie Branch, our quarterback, he accounted for 6 touchdowns in each of our playoff games, and he's just a dynamic young man. I think he's one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the state. Michael Ray is probably our overall team leader. He started both ways for us, outside linebacker and receiver last year, and he's just kind of led this team in the offseason. Great work ethic, and even a better kid than that. And Daniqua's Dunn comes back, Monte Wilson, Jalen Herman, Kobe Riendo, Jamari Johnson on the defensive side. So we're excited to see where this takes us, and hopefully we get to be back with our kids, as soon as possible. But
so now going into your second year as the head coach of the Crosby Cougars, what are some adversities that you had in year 1 that you don't see yourself having in year 2, or that you've kind of learned from with your group of guys?
Yeah, definitely. The first thing was just kind of knowing their personalities and just changing the way we worked a little bit. It was different. And they've been successful in the past and doing things a certain way, and then we come in with how we want them to do things now, and it was a little bit of a change for them, but I think we've made some pretty good strides. We're starting to work at a tempo that we want them to work at. They're starting to be familiar with our schemes and what we expect of them, and our terminology and everything like that. So just a better understanding of everything in general. How to work, what we expect out of their work, and schemes has helped us. And our coaching staff obviously coming in, and they developed the relationships with these kids pretty quickly, and have continued to do that. And we don't look to really have much staff turnover, and so that's one thing I think is going to help us moving into next year as well.
And let's talk about your district a little bit. Realignment has some teams going some different places, but y'all are in 5A Division 2 in District 12. Talk about some of the teams that you have in your district, and the week in, week out competition that you have with these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Week in and week out, it's a grind. Everybody in our district, I think, can win on any given week. I think you start at the top, and they'll be at the top until somebody beats them, and that's Barbers Hill. They went undefeated in district play last year. They have some, great returning players offensively. They have 2 receivers coming back that are really dynamic. Some good players on defense, especially on the defensive line coming back. Coach Westberg does a great job there. We have 5 out of our district. 5 of the teams that are in the new district went to the playoffs last year. Us, Barbers Hill, PNG, Nederland, and Kingwood Park. And then you add Texas City into the mix, who's in one of the toughest 5A Division 1 districts, if not the toughest in the state. And then Dayton has Coach Ware coming in, and he helped build the program at New Caney to where it is now. And so, he's creating some excitement there. And Santa Fe, they're going to continue to get better. A new head coach there as well. And so they were getting used to him, and they're going to be improving. So it's just going to be a battle every single week. Last year, PNG, they had a lot of injuries, and that kind of derailed part of their season. But they're always tough, traditionally one of the powers in the state, and don't see much changing there. Nederland was young like we were last year, so they're going to be bringing a lot of kids back, and we'll be better. Kingwood Park and Texas City, just starting to try to get to know them a little bit better and try to get a feel for them, but obviously some really solid football clubs there. So week in and week out in our district, you're going to have to prepare, and you're going to have to come to play, and you're going to have to play well to win with no matter who it is that you're facing.
Thank you so much, Coach Prieto, and good luck to the Crosby Cougars in the 2020 season. We have a few messages from our sponsors and a quick trivia question for you.
District 12 5A Division 2 trivia question. Which high school in this district was the last to win a football state title in 1976? A. Crosby, B. Barbers Hill, C. Texas City, or D. Santa Fe? The answer when we return.
Chevrolet Inside High School Sports is brought to you by your Houston area Chevy dealers. Visit your nearest dealer to test drive our award-winning products. The film session is presented by your local Geico offices in Cypress, Katy, Spring, and Pearland. To get more information or a quote, go to geico.com/Houston. The Players on the Rise is presented by Grimaldi's Cold Brick Oven Pizzeria. Grimaldi's Pizzeria is open for carry-out and delivery. Visit grimaldispizzeria.com.
Welcome back to the Campfire. District 12 5A Division II's trivia question. Which high school in this district was the last to win a football state title in 1976? A. Crosby, B. Barbers Hill, C. Texas City, or D. Santa Fe? If you answered B. Barbers Hill, you're correct.
I definitely got that trivia question wrong, but if you nailed it, go comment in our feed. Now it's time for our district breakdown. We have Inside High School Sports Insider Matt Harris on to break down District 12 5A Division II. Matt?
Thanks, Ashley. We're going to be wrapping up 5A Division II today with 12 5A Division II. First up, we have Barbers Hill, who for the second time in 3 years will have to replace the majority of their talent. Top defensive playmakers Caven Brannon and AJ Warby are gone, along with quarterback Connor Dunham, but they'll return Cam Colley, who's better known for his talents on the diamond, where he's committed to Texas Tech to play baseball. Barbers Hill won their district for the first time since 2011 last season, going 11-2 overall, but they'll need some help replacing that talent if they want to contend for another district title in 2020. As for Crosby, they missed playoffs in 2018, but rebounded nicely last year by going 6-5 and making playoffs once again. The Cougars have been a mainstay in the playoffs, but they'll need to find some continuity at quarterback if they want to get back in that race for the district title in 2020. They'll return athlete Deniquez Dunn. Dunn played all over the field for the Cougars last season, playing the first half of the season mostly at quarterback before finishing up playing mostly wide receiver, but also running the ball a lot. I think he even played a little defense too. And speaking of defense, Crosby will return Jaden Fields, who was a productive corner. They'll have enough talent to once again get back in that district title race in Coach Jerry Prieto's second season at the helm, and I would look for Crosby to make a run at a district title in 2020. Over in Santa Fe, they're replacing a starting quarterback for the second year in a row. The Indians will lose Nate Hayes to graduation, and their success will likely depend on who steps up and fills that role. The good news is plenty of experience returns on the offensive line, including center Joey Gibbs. The Indians should have a solid season running the ball and adjusting to life with a new quarterback behind that strong offensive line. As for Kingwood Park, they dropped down from 5A Division I and will return several key players in 2020. Quarterback Hudson Dizelle is back to lead the offense, and though he loses his top target in Kanan Adrian, Kanan's twin brother Grayson is back after playing on varsity last season as a sophomore. By dropping down to Division II and returning talent, expect Kingwood Park to compete for a district title in 2020. Speaking of dropping down from Division I to 5A Division II, Texas City struggled to a 2-8 season in 2019, but they played in one of the toughest districts in Texas. Gone now is Texas City from a district that included the likes of Hightower, Shadow Creek, Foster, Angleton, and more, so the Stingeries could make a playoff run in 2020 behind plenty of returning talent. Among that talent is speedy back Samaj McCall and a strong defensive line led by Cole Trash and Josiah Mason. They may not win district, but expect Texas City to make a serious run at the playoffs in 2020. That's it for our 5A Division II season preview, and we'll be moving on to 5A Division I next week. Back to you, Ashley.
Matt, great insight. I'll see you next week. That's all we have for this edition of The Campfire. Come back every Monday for a new show. Next week, we'll be moving up in the ranks as we're going into 5A Division I, and we'll be breaking down District 8 5A Division I. Until then, follow our social platforms. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. All this week focused on District 12 5A Division II. Until next time, I'm Ashley Bullington, and thank you so much for watching The Campfire.